Remarkably, NovaTech FX are continuing to run their fraudulent money game, and the noose is tightening though, and I want to just highlight for you today some information just in the last few days given out by the State of Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. You can get the link to this page in the description below so you can see this for yourself. And basically enforcement is saying, look, we have a problem here, and the problem is with their respondent, NovaTech FX, Cynthia Petian and Eddie Petian. And here's the case number. A summary of the order we'll look at in a second, but let's also just look for more information here. They've been issued with a $50,000 fine, a civil penalty for administrative assessment, and the violation type is fraud. Okay, fraud, not something you want to get involved with, fraud. If we look at the summary of the order, we can see some very specific details here as to what's actually happening and why Cynthia Petian and Eddie Petian, the founders of NovaTech FX, are being specifically called out. There is some interesting information here on Cynthia and Eddie, and if you're not aware of their personal history, I'll just go through these 5 points very quickly. In or about 2011, Cynthia Petian and Eddie Petian filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. In or about August 2019, a debt buyer sued Cynthia Petian and for breach of contract and unjust enrichment, alleging that Cynthia Petian had failed and or refused to repay a loan. In or about July 2018, a mortgage lender sued Eddie Petian and Cynthia Petian in an action to foreclose a defaulted mortgage on residential real property held by Cynthia and Eddie. In or about April 2018, a credit card issuer sued Cynthia Petian, and in October 2017, a credit card issuer sued Eddie Petian. So track record is not good for these people who don't pay their debts, who have defaulted on mortgages, who have been declared bankrupt in the past. Would you really want to trust your money to these people? But more than that, let me go back here and remind you that this is a fraud. This is the violation type. This is a securities fraud. There's been plenty of warnings from many administrative areas around the world now, and not one time have NovaTech FX ever tried to defend against these penalties and so on. And that's because they can't, because they are running a fraud, so they can't deny they're running a fraud. They can't prove they're not running a fraud, although the onus of responsibility is on them to prove that they're not being fraudulent, but they never do. So yeah, it's looking very sad for anyone who's being caught up with NovaTech FX. I've done plenty of videos on these now, but if this is your first time you've seen a video from me, then hopefully this is useful and it might help you avoid getting involved with NovaTech FX. They're still taking deposits from new members. They're still recruiting more and more people into their pyramid scheme. So do stay well away. And I hope this has been useful. If you're also interested in looking at legitimate and genuine ways to put your money to work, do check out my website at copydragons.com, something I've been doing there for the last 8 years, and really appreciate you having a look at that. Do let me know if you've got any questions or comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.